You see, there is a very critical issue nobody is talking about. But I want you to see these videos.
محمد رسول الله عليها نحيا وعليها نموت وعليها نلقى الله إن شاء الله من الآمنين.
Why? If like me you were wondering what's going on, it's the conflict in Sudan, which erupted in April 2023 between the Sudanese armed forces led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the paramilitary rapid forces RSF led by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemeti. It has escalated into one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with over 150,000 people dead and 14 million people displaced. For the uninitiated, Sudan has been plagued with endless internal crises as a result of the state-backed ethno-religious class stratification between the elite Arab Sudanese factions, who control most of the resources and institutional or government power, and the indigenous non-Arab African ethnic groups since as far back as 1821, after the Ottoman Egyptians colonized Sudan, then deployed the typical divide and rule strategy, turning the Arab-speaking Muslim tribes against their own fellow Sudanese people as local administrators to enforce heavy brutal taxes. But it became tremendously worse after the British Empire, but that's a video for another day. Now, in 2003, the then military dictator Omar al-Bashir formally adopted heavily funded and armed Janjaweed militia, which alongside the Sudanese government armed forces itself carried out a genocide in Darfur that killed over 300,000 people, predominantly the non-Arab African Sudanese, with one agenda being to create a racially pure Arab Islamist state throughout Sudan through ethnic cleansing of Sudan's traditional people. So when you see a particular governor calling for integration of Arabic into the Nigerian educational curriculum in a rapidly evolving world that demands technological, scientific, or nationally oriented historical subjects, you can smell the traits of identity crisis fermenting and raise alarm on time. I digress. Now, fast forward to 2023, that Janjaweed militia has metamorphosized into the Rapid Support Forces and became a tool of the UAE to carry out another genocide, especially during the 18-month siege against Al-Fashir, the capital of North Darfur, where the RSF cut off total access to supply of food, medical supply and humanitarian aid while raining down bombs and heavy artilleries, all provided by none other than the UAE. You want to hear the crazy part? The same UAE funding the guns pledged $30 million for civilians trapped in Al Ubaid, the capital city of North Kordofan state in central western Sudan, a vital commercial transport and oil pipeline hub linking the west to the east, in the UAE's attempt to maintain plausible deniability. In fact, the UAE alone has contributed over $3.5 billion in aid to Sudan in the last 10 years. But a UN panel of experts and the Wall Street Journal have both documented UAE arms shipments, physically disguised as humanitarian cargo, was intercepted at Entebbe in Uganda, but Ugandan government and military leaders immediately issued an order to never again inspect any UAE to chart flights. There also is the airfield in Chad, hidden under the cover of a hospital complex bearing crescent markings. However, the spokesperson for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society said the IFRC was not even aware of the hospital's existence until the Emirati official publicly said it had helped 18,000 patients in Amjara so far. You're probably asking why the UAE would secretly fund all this bloodshed and wanton violence. You'll find out everything in part 2 of this video. As always, don't trust, verify.